You're listening to Power Talk, Berkeley Electric Cooperative's official broadcast about the cooperative, our communities, and ways to use energy wisely. And now, let's join our hosts for today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Power Talk. I am Micah Ponce, the communications guy with Berkeley Electric Cooperative, and I'll be the maestro for today, conducting you along this magical journey, along with the help of my co-host, Miss Libby Roerig.
And it is definitely a power-packed Power Talk this weekend.
And speaking of packed, we have a full studio for those of you who are watching. We got all the seats filled today. We have one of our returning guests, no stranger to the show, our own energy guru, Mr. Eddie Plowden, the Director of Energy Services. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Let's talk.
And we also have a brand new face on the show, the Surge Guard King himself, Mark Timms, our energy services technician. And Mark, it's our tradition on the show when we have somebody new that you get your official Power Talk mug. Yes. So there you are, sir. You are now official.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you're part of an elite alumni group.
Okay, good,
yes.
Good.
Only people who come on the show get a mug.
Nice. All right, I'm excited.
Well, that's about as good as it gets, folks.
Yeah. It's all downhill from here.
Well, Mark, you might be new to the show, but, you've been around the co-op a little while for now. But why don't you tell us, since it's your first time on the air, give some folks a little bit of background about what you do for the co-op and sort of how you ended up here.
All right, very good. Well, I've actually been in the electrical and HVAC field for about 18 years. Started off in residential and moved over to commercial, and actually have worked a few years at Santee Cooper actually producing power. So I've kind of got to see throughout the years all the different ways that electricity is actually used in the field and in our homes for our members. So here I'm actually energy services technician, so I help with the water heater program, surge guards. We actually do energy audits and help with some of the loans also.
Well, got a full plate, full plate for the studio. Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Well, it's hurricane season. We've officially
June 1st.
Yep,
that's when it starts.
But it's also afternoon thunderstorm season here at the Low Country, and
every weekend it rains too. It seems like every weekend.
I mean, you could see no rain for 10 days, and then all of a sudden 4 o'clock hits, and it's a different story. But so as Mark mentioned, he handles the cooperative Surge Guard program. So, Mark, tell us a little bit about that program and why it's such a value for our members.
It's good for our members. What we actually offer is a meter-based surge guard that's installed at the meter outside of the home. And with doing that, we go out and we check the ground to make sure we've got a good earth ground outside the home at the meter base. And from there, we install the surge guard. And what the surge guard does is it's going to protect any surges from coming in the incoming power that we're serving them here at Berkeley Electric. So the surge guard actually has a little indicating light on the side of it, a little red light that lets us know it's always on and working, so that way our members can actually step out there and look at it and know if it's doing what it's supposed to do. So it's a pretty good little setup that we have. In with it, it is $5.95 per month. We ask you to do a 36-month lease when you sign up for it. There's a $50 installation and inspection fee. That's whenever I come out and check to make sure your ground's good and actually install the unit for you. But we do like to let our members know that this is not a whole home lightning protection or suppression system. What we're trying to do is just keep a surge from coming inside the home from the power that we're serving them. And
where do the surges commonly come from?
Typically, you're going to pick that up off the incoming line from power restoration after power's been out, and or if a limb falls on a line, that type of thing. That's where we see most of our surges come from.
Now, I had heard somewhere that possibly even when your HVAC system starts up, it can generate a surge at times. Is that correct?
Hold up. That is another surge source. We do still recommend second stage surge protection, even with this meter-based surge that we install. But you can get that through a licensed contractor. That can be put actually on your air conditioning or on any other sensitive items that are inside the home.
Now, it's just not like a regular power strip, though. Like you can go get, I mean, I'm sure you can get it at Walmart, but it's just not like the one where you just plug in a whole bunch of stuff. It's got to actually have some electronics or something on the inside,
some
right?
Good stuff, yes, sir.
Okay, it's got to have the good stuff. It's gotta have the good.
Right.
Varistors.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, sir.
We throw that varistor out to you, right?
There you go. Yes, sir.
Wouldn't that be the best way to say it?
Yeah.
New term for Micah for the day.
Yeah.
You got to learn something every time we come on Power Talk. I love it.
But there's other areas where the surges can come in the home, not just through the meter base that needs to be protected, because you can have like a system, wired out to a pool, or the old, used to be old satellite. It can come in through like a cable line. And the irrigation systems that are wired, it can come in through that. So that's why protecting those other devices in your home is quite important.
Big deal.
Right. I mean, my understanding too is that if there's like a lightning strike that's close enough, the wires in your home can sort of act like an antenna and sort of grab that electricity out of the air, which would bypass the meter base, which makes those secondary devices that much more important. But they got to have the good stuff, folks.
They got to have the good stuff.
Got to have the good stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I mean, the days are getting longer and hotter. Summer is here, and one of the things that we always like to try to do is help prevent summer from overheating your finances. And so that's when we're going to turn it over to our energy guru, the man who with the plan and all the tips and tricks for keeping your bills a little bit lower. Now, I mean, what's your biggest summertime energy user, Eddie?
Well, I mean, certainly the cooling system is going to be a biggest user, and we have a whole team that can help our members with answering the questions about their high bills. But we have lots of tools as far as own bill financing to help our members lower their energy use. But what are some things that you can do to try to lower your energy bill, your cooling bill? We have certainly a good array of different things to talk about, today.
Well, I mean, when you were mentioning the heating and air being largest, so I mean, like percentage wise, how much does that account for your bill on a monthly basis?
Well, on an annual basis, it's 50%.
Annual
heating,
basis, okay.
Cooling, but certainly in a summer month, it could be a lot more than half your bill. It could be like 50%, way over that. So 2/3 of your bill during those hot summer months.
Well, I mean, hot summer months, they're here. I mean, June, we all know it starts heating up. So, I mean, what are some of the things you need to do to make sure, since that's your biggest energy user, what are some of the things that you need to do to make sure your HVAC system is working properly?
Maintenance is a number one thing. Making sure that your unit is clean and working like it's supposed to. Your outside unit the coils need to be clean. The inside needs to have a filter that's getting changed out regularly, inspected, and we do recommend a filter that the air can go through. I mean, that's the whole idea. If the air cannot go through the filter, you're going to cause problems with not enough. It's almost like choking yourself, putting a mask on, put double mask, 3 masks on, and trying to breathe through that, or your house trying to pull air through it. It gets harder and harder and harder, and your unit cannot perform, and it leads to increased power bills. From that standpoint. So we do recommend a standard throwaway type filter. And then maintaining the coils, make sure the inside coils and outside coils are clean and running properly.
So, Eddie, if you're not super handy like me, your area HVAC contractor can help with that, right? They can come out and service your unit a couple times a year.
Well, certainly we would, steer our members towards approved contractors, checking our own bill financing program, the Home Advantage loan program. We have a list of 8 contractors on there that can do that service. Also, with our Energy Advance loan program, there's about 50 contractors that have been vetted, have worked with us, and we recommend the members to look at them for doing this service.
So if you don't have a contractor and don't know where to start, you can check our website, and you don't have to participate in the loan program to use these contractors. You could just, these are a list of folks who we know and trust, and we would recommend to provide good service to our members, and just check out our website for that list. Well, and living in the Low Country, air is definitely vital to surviving the summer. But also because we're in the Low Country, we've got a lot of humidity, and
my understanding is that like an HVAC system also helps with the moisture and the humidity in your home. I mean, what do we need to do to make sure that that's working properly in terms of like, does it need to drain? How fast does it need to drain? Where does the drain come out? What do I need to look for?
And that's something that needs to be maintained. Every year you need to have that cleaned. And of course, you're talking about like the coils and the unit gets so cold that think about a glass that's sitting here with ice in it, and then the moisture is condensing around it. So basically, that's what's happening in your HVAC system. If it's working properly, it is so cold that it's condensing that moisture in your house, and it's got to drain out through the pan to the line outside your house. You don't want it to get stopped up in that unit because it can, flood your ceiling, and it can, certainly cause, problems with the home. So it needs to be cleaned out professionally, or if you're handy, you can, do it yourself. But that's kind of the next step, as far as maintenance is concerned. And we also, one big tip that we recommend for summer cooling is to make sure that your thermostat is set on automatic and not with a fan on. Because think about that wet coil. If you leave it on, when the compressor cuts off, it's going to blow that moisture back into your home. So it's causing uncomfortable conditions for your home. So definitely thermostat setting to automatic.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, we're always looking for those easy ways to help our members save money around the house. And Mark, besides Surge Guard, you also handle a lot of our water heater calls and things of that nature. Yes. Are there any handy tips for like water heaters to help us save money? Because beyond your HVAC system, I mean, an electric water heater can be one of your bigger power users, depending on how many people you have in the home. Is there like particular setting you need to set it on? Is there any maintenance that you need to do?
Water heater, everybody has one, and it's probably one of the last things you think about whenever you think about something in your home, until you turn that faucet and realize, hey, I don't have any hot water. Then it is your top priority. That is for sure. But water heaters don't require a lot of maintenance. You do like to put an eye on it from time to time to make sure you don't have any leaks with it, because it does have a temperature pressure valve on it that can leak, or the tank itself can leak with age. Water heaters, typically we're getting 10, 15. There's some out there still 20, 25 years old. But lucky
Micah just raised his hand.
Yeah, when we first moved into the house, I can't even remember that there was like a State water heater or something was the brand. Yeah, and I mean it was going on 20 years, and so I mean we were fine and dandy with it until I came downstairs one morning and stepped in a big old puddle of water. And since I live in an old house, ours was actually located on an interior closet in the hallway, and I've got hardwood floors, folks.
Yeah.
So
soft ones now.
Well, a little wavy, they're all good. Makes for an interesting walk down the hallway.
Fun marble game,
exactly.
For sure. But here at Berkeley Electric, we do offer 2 different programs for water heaters. We do the H2O Select program, where you make a monthly payment. It's either $7 a month for a 50-gallon water heater, or $11 a month for a 50-gallon with a mixing valve. And if you have any issues, you just pick the phone up and call us, and we'll have a plumber out there to help you with that. In the case that you're not part of that program, we do have H2O Advantage, where we can help anybody that's a BEC member get a water heater and do on-bill financing with that.
And certainly as far as cutting down on your water heating use is not using as much hot water. So I mean, Mark's probably got the young children in the home that want to use a 30-45 minute shower when they could be done in 5 or 6 minutes.
Multiple baths. That's what I run into.
That's right.
One bathes for an hour, that one gets out, then the other one wants to go get in and take a bath, and I'm like, y'all are killing me.
It's summertime. We can just take them outside with a hose now. It'll nice refreshing hose water bath.
We were tickled this past weekend. They were actually out on the big floaty mat and had soap on it and sliding on it, and I said, there's our baths for the day right there. That's perfect. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean, we talk about the HVAC system because obviously that is one of our biggest things, and we've talked about maintenance for it. But I mean, when you were saying, with the electric water heater, don't use it as much. I mean, doesn't that also sort of apply to like your thermostat settings when you're in the house during the summertime? I mean, that's another way that you need to really sort of monitor what you're doing, where you can save a few dollars here and there.
Yeah, and certainly your thermostat setting is a big key. For every degree is going to be 3 to 5%, which can be around $10 per degree throughout the year. And also we have the smart thermostat program that you can investigate on our website. And the smart thermostats do a great job of cutting the temperature down a little bit when you're away from the home. It helps monitor, like Libby has mentioned. I've experienced it with the Ecobee thermostat. It can tell you if you got problems with your heating and air, and give you alerts, from that standpoint. So it's great to have somebody else, quote, in your home helping you with managing your HVAC system. But yeah, your thermostat setting is a big part of it. Maintenance, and then your setting.
And 78 degrees is the recommended setting?
Yes, recommended. And we do recommend the humidity normally being 60%, or a little bit less than that, 60% being a high, side.
So
and you wouldn't know that if you have a standard thermostat that doesn't have that humidity.
Raising my hand again.
Okay. I mean, that's important.
Yeah, and so Eddie, somebody who says 78 is just too warm for me, is there another low cost way that they can make their home feel cooler?
Well, certainly, having fans, in the room, and you always want the fan in the summertime to blow on your skin. And basically the ways you feel cool in a home is 3 different ways. One is the temperature setting. 2 is having humidity low, and then the third one, of course, is having the fan air movement across your body and makes you feel cooler. It's actually evaporating the moisture off your skin, makes you feel cool. Of course, the opposite is true in the wintertime. You want that fan to go up
that wind
and then push it down the side of the walls, and then kind of roll the air back in, and you're not feeling it. So.
Yep.
Well, for those of you who are just tuning in or just a little bit past the halfway mark in the show, and we are talking energy efficiency, we're talking surge guard, and we're talking water heating. We're talking all kinds of different ways to sort of save money around the house, especially as we move into those summer months. And Libby, if I'm not mistaken, don't we have a handy dandy little 101 tips booklet that people can get?
We do. It's offered through Touchstone Energy, and they're all low-cost, no-cost ways to save money on your bill. It's on our website, or you could stop by one of our offices. We'd be happy to share those. We have them in English and Spanish. Just anything we can do to help our members spend just what they want on their power bill. We certainly don't want to be in a situation where someone can't or is spending more than they would prefer.
Well, I mean, we've got, like I said, we've got lots of handy dandy little tips. We've talked about, fans and your HVAC settings with your thermostat. I mean, it can be something as simple as like closing the blinds during the summer on, certain south facing, or
east and west
facing windows,
or south, from that standpoint. Yeah. And of course, we had a note about plant a tree. Have a tree by the house. Trees do provide nice shade, certainly on the east and west side. But deciduous trees, when they drop the leaves, is a little bit better on the east and west, because you can get some sun value in the wintertime, and then drop the leaves and get the leaves in the summer. So shading you.
Our neighbors have this enormous oak tree, right? And it's a nice, big, mature oak tree that every fall they complain about the leaves and the acorns. And every time they complain about it to me, I'm like, yeah, but it's saving you a lot of money in the summertime with that, that shade.
And it can, obviously block the wind in the wintertime too. Keep from, that wind does have an effect on cooling down the home, but right now it's hot, so we need to figure out how we can keep the home cool at the lowest price. Some tools that we offer from Berkeley Electric Cooperative, of course, is a smart hub, and with our app for our members, and they can if you want to know what your power bill is, you can check your daily use on your smart hub. You can also go in to your settings and change. Give yourself alert about your daily high kilowatt hour use. So if your bill is want to set like a 50 kilowatt hours a day or something of that nature, which is like $5 a day as a high alert, you would get alert and it says, hey, your use is real high. That's a great tool that members can do. The other one is actually can go on prepay with Berkeley Electric Cooperative, and we will daily let you know how much energy you're using, so you get immediate feedback every single day.
Yeah.
And we do see our members that have the prepay program, tend to use less energy.
Yeah, they're just more aware of how much they're using on a daily basis, and knowledge is power to change your habits. If it goes up a little bit, it was either hot or you had company and they were taking much long showers.
Well, I mean, you mentioned Smart Hub. That's a great way to do it. I mean, I think, like you said, you not only daily, but you can run reports that show like your year's worth of usage, and you can compare it to what you used last year, and sort of get an idea of where you stand. Weather-wise. Sometimes the weather is going to be our biggest factor that's going to be affecting your bill in a lot of cases, because a lot of times we hear our members say, "Well, I haven't changed anything, in my house. I haven't touched my thermostat." But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to use more energy. Isn't that correct?
That's true, because your system may not be performing as well as it did in the past. The unit can have problems. It can have leaking refrigerant. And certainly when you're getting to the point where your system is old, over 10 years old, and you're having problems with recurring, bills or having to put refrigerant in your unit or having to replace parts, it's time to consider our own bill financing program with a Home Advantage loan program.
And then even if you have it set on 78, when it's 83 degrees outside, your unit's not working as hard. But if it gets up to those high 90s, it's going to be a lot harder for your unit it's going to continually try to reach that 78. And if it's that hot outside, it's just going to keep running and running and running and running. And you may not have touched the thermostat, but your electric bill is going to go up a little bit just because of the constant use.
Yeah, absolutely. When it's running, it's pulling that full power amount, whether it's giving you the cooling or not. So run, you're still hot. So
some of our members may not be aware that Eddie and his team, in conjunction with our billing department, we're monitoring for spikes in energy usage and may reach out to you if your home's using an unusually large or spike in energy. Eddie, can you tell us more about that program?
Yes, I mean it's a great service to our members. You're not the lucky one when we call you and say your bill this month, instead of being $200, is going to be $600. It's normally something that's really out of line for the members that we're calling, and it's a small number. I mean, you're talking 11,000 bills a month that we're doing, and we may call 8 or 10 members in a month. So it's a small group of members that we're calling, but what we're doing is using our hourly data, hourly kilowatt hour readings on your meter to figure out what is the problem. Is it a HVAC related problem? Is it a water heater that's busted and running all the time? We want to try to help our members figure out with them what the problem is and get it fixed as quickly as possible.
Yeah, because for the people who are regular monthly billing, they're going to get that surprise at the end of the month. But if we can stop it into, first couple of weeks of the billing cycle, that could save thousands of dollars.
Yeah, we can definitely see, $500-$600 bills. We've seen $1,000 bills, and we, caught it and try and help the member, with that. Well, certainly, if you're on prepay, you would know right away.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You would know the next day something's wrong.
Well, like you mentioned earlier, we have an entire team of energy advisors who are here to help our members. And beyond the proactive billing, don't we offer something like free energy audits where we'll actually come out to your home and try to identify what is causing those problems?
Yeah, we do our team is, professionally trained to get together, and we go out and do energy audits for members, not only for residential but also for commercial, members, to help them with their power bills. I know Mark, goes out and does a lot of the help with the technical side when we're getting into issues that we need to try to resolve technically, because he's got great experience with heating and air. So we're using our talent in a lot of different ways.
And as a member-owned cooperative, all of these services are offered free to our members. We serve you. You own the cooperative, and we want you to have the best service possible.
Yep, and it's it's really a purpose-driven effort. For our team, we enjoy helping our members and resolving the problems, and certainly we don't want it to carry on. So if a member calls us, has a really a problem with their system, we can normally drill down, figure out what the problem is, help them resolve it, and then we have the own bill finance and try to help them from that standpoint too.
Yeah, I always compare it to, the difference between going to the mechanic shop and not knowing anything about cars and showing up and saying, my car is doing XYZ, versus having the knowledge base of, an independent energy service expert say, these things are probably happening with your unit. You might want to talk about that. Going into the mechanic shop armed with information, saying, this is wrong with my car, versus saying, I don't know what's wrong, can you fix it? So we're definitely an advocate for the members.
We are.
And, advocates for the members, easy energy tips. We've got rebates. We've got technicians like Mark who are going to help you figure out what's going on. But get down to the nitty gritty too. We want to give the members as much power as possible to have control over their bill. And one of the ways we talked about was Smart Hub, but don't we also offer like a time of day rate that will give members a little bit more control over their actual rate that they pay for their electric bill?
Certainly, when there's a tool in the Smart Hub to actually do a comparison if you've been had service for at least a year and look at, are you going to save money on the time of day or not? And the time of day means that Berkeley Electric Cooperative charges more during our 3 hours of peak, most critical hours that cost us, wholesale dollars money, and then also in the summer it's going to be from 3 to 7, p.m. And it's like, 3 times as much as a normal cost. It goes from around 11 and a half, 12 cents a kilowatt hour to just over 30 cents a kilowatt hour. But off peak is around 6. So, if you've got a way to control your use, like you've got a pool or water heater you want to put a timer on, and this is great for members that are getting an electric vehicle and charging at home.
Okay.
Because they can use a lot of power from an electric vehicle, but still that's you got tremendous savings in fuel to have an electric vehicle versus having a gas vehicle.
And we're also talking about summertime. Isn't there also something called like a summer tilt that goes on as well this time of year in terms of the rates, or how does that work?
It's a little bit higher cost wholesale in the summertime for us.
Yeah, but I mean, the time of day, basically you just try to shift as much off of those peak times as possible. Try to avoid doing the laundry during those times if you can. Try to avoid using your oven and use a microwave instead, maybe to heat up some dinner or something along those lines. Simple little things. So the more that you shift off that peak, the more you're able to save with time of day.
And summer tip is like cooking outside, cooking slow that's going to save you instead of cooking in your oven, during the time when you get home. But grilling outside, taking that heat out of your home, anything you do to take the heat out of your home during the summertime is ideal.
And also, folks, just in case you don't know, we're talking about beating the peak, and we actually have a Beat the Peak program where you can sign up for free alerts, where we will send you an alert during peak times and say, hey, price of electricity is going to be kind of high right now. Anything you can do will help all of the members save electricity or save money on their electricity, because we're avoiding those peak times and we don't have to buy electricity as a co-op when it's the most expensive. And in case you didn't know, if you sign up before June 30th, you are also entered to win either a $100 or $500 Visa gift card. So that's a nice little thing to get you on a summer trip and put a little bit of gas in your tank for your next road trip when you're going to the beach or something like that. So, believe it or not, we're actually coming down to the wire, folks. So that's probably going to do it for another edition of Power Talk. Thank you for tuning in. And don't forget, you can now find us on all the popular podcast streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple, and iHeartRadio. You can also get a behind-the-scenes look at each episode on the Co-op's YouTube channel. So until next time, be sure to take a look. Everybody wave. And this has been the Communications Guy with another edition of Berkeley Electric's Power Talk, and we will see you in the future. Thank you for tuning in.